really one of the reasons we were able to win that too. Our defense put out the fires. I mean, that was four turnovers and 2 of those in plus territory. They did score on one of them, but we hold one to a field goal. We got a takeaway on the other one, and we force a punt on the very first one of the game. So if that doesn't happen, any one of those doesn't happen, we don't get back in that. So I thought our defense did some real good things, and that was the biggest part of that. And then certainly the end of the game, that sequence with just under 4 minutes was pretty big. So, questions?
Never an easy turnaround for these Thursday games, but given the fact that it's a division opponent, an opponent that you've already played once this year, does it make it a little bit easier than, say, a Buffalo or somebody maybe you're not familiar with?
Yeah, it does. Just because you have common knowledge of what they do, and then you just, as you watch the tape, you want to see how much of it still lines up. And their personnel, but they have the same thing on us too. We've said that. So I guess if anything, it's a little easier on both of us, but from that regard. But it's, but then you can't overthink it, you can't underthink it, because you don't. You got to have just enough wrinkles to make sure you're not a sitting duck, but yet you don't want to do so much that you slow your own guys down, and they're not able to play fast. So that's kind of the balance.
Line up from what you saw earlier in the year with them?
There's a lot, they're going to be pretty much what they're going to be. Joe Barry's done a really good job. He's a hell of a coordinator, and he'll have a little something for us. He does for everybody, but they're going to play their style of defense, and because they've been pretty good at it. I mean, they've got good personnel, and they play good defense. They have all year. They have since he's been there. So, we got to be ready. They move a lot. They stun a lot. There's enough pressure in there. Gary's playing well. Clark is always a force in there. Quay Walker. I mean, these guys are, Preston's doing a pretty good job over there. So, it's a challenge like every week.
Life pretty tough on Jordan Love that first matchup. He's had a pretty good 3-game stretch here. What do you see him doing better as he's gotten a little bit more experience under his belt?
Yeah, I just think it's, he's connected on some of these throws, man. He's, I feel like he's always been pretty poised, really. It just, some of these connections they haven't been able to connect on some of these critical moments. I feel like he's making those. He looks pretty composed. He's athletic enough. He's got a big arm talent. And the run game has helped them with that as well, just for what they're able to do and what they want to do. So I would say they're executing. He's executing.
Running back of Aaron Jones' caliber is expected to be out for a contest. You always want to stop the run first, but does it ever change the math, the balance of it with run versus pass when a star back is out?
Yeah, I think they're still going to want to. I think for the most part they're no different than anybody else. They'll have these principles with what they do in the run game and to play pass off of it, to boot off of it, and even if it keeps you honest, they're going to want to do some of that. Now, I think more importantly. And our thing, we can't give up explosives, so kind of to your point, yeah, that could be something you come out, and then eventually if you're able to get some explosive in the pass game, then it's going to open your run game up. I think that's the big thing for us is, man, we got to play this top down. We can't give up any of these chunk plays because they are having some success with those.
This is your third Thanksgiving game. Any differences in preparation between your first one and now, or things you learned over the last two?
No, honestly, no. It's really pretty similar to what we've done since year one. There's only so much you can do, right, as far as practice. So, they came in, they got a lift. We met with them, kind of give them an intro to Green Bay, and then we're going to have a walkthrough here in a little bit, about an hour, a little over. and then get them out of here, get them off their feet, let them rest, because that's big since they just played yesterday, and then come back in tomorrow. They'll get a lot more of the game plan, the base, the third down, and then we'll have another walkthrough. So, it's been really status quo, if you will, for the last couple of years.
What do you think of Colby's start, having watched the tape?
Yeah, look, some good, and then some that wasn't as good as you would like. But that was his first time to start over there at left guard, and I say this again, it's not too big for him. I thought he fought in there. I know this at the end of that game. He really, he played well. As really all those guys on offense did. I mean, that was some of our best football we've played all year in the last 4 minutes of the game. They just, we executed at a high level, and he really did. He stepped up, and that's a lot of pressure for a rookie to go in there first time at left guard and games on the line, and thought he played pretty good. So look, it's something to build off of on that side. We believe he'll get better with more reps. We believe he'll continue to grow. So, it's good.
Yeah, I know it's never, quite as simple as saying, hey, just go 2 minute all the time, but Goff was really good in 2 minute. The offense was really good in 2 minute. What does he do so well there? What's the key, I guess, to being so successful in some of those situations?
Well, I think just understanding the menu, the plays, these are things that, for the most part, we've had these for 2 years now, and we have a menu of, as all teams do, we have a pretty large menu of staple plays that we can get to by what coverage we think they're going to play or they major in 2 minutes. And so, this was that game by what they were doing. We had just some of these line up and snap the ball and find the read, find the play, find your guy. And he just, I think it's having a guy that understands those plays, understand what they're doing in the coverage, where's your guy at, where's your best matchup, and doing that all by just keeping your composure, and that's what he did. I mean, he didn't get frazzled by it. I thought he sat in the pocket and he made good decisions with the football, and he was comfortable. He was comfortable.
CJ Gardner-Johnson's been saying online that he's coming back in the next couple of weeks. Do you have any sense that he'll be able to return to practice soon? Do you have an update on how his rehab is going?
Well, I want to talk to the doctor he's talking to then. No, listen, Duce is he's an upbeat, positive, hardworking, will himself to, and that's what we love about him. So, I don't foresee that, but yet, man, I'm not going to never say never. I'm not going to do that. So, he may have mutant genes, He's like Wolverine. I mean, there's no telling. But believe me, that would be unbelievable. But I just, I think it'll be hard, but you never know.
This year, or is he still the next couple weeks? You still not hope that playoffs or sometime you can be back?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll just have to see. I really, I think that timeline is a matter of, it would be a very, very fast recovery. But I love where his head's at. And you got to think that way, and you got to be positive, because I think that leads to quicker healing, if you allow yourself to think that way.
Does something you said earlier about preventing the big play. Obviously, that's a big part of Green Bay's passing attack, and they really seemed to unlock it with Wicks yesterday. I'm curious with Kirby. Saw him do it against Baltimore, and then Justin Fields brought up yesterday about him kind of cheating on some of those underneath crossers and kind of abandoning the help role. What's the balance there with him, such a dynamic playmaker that can, make turnovers on some of those cheat routes, but also maybe leaving something exposed over top?
Yeah, I mean, I think, look, some quarterbacks, as they go, they're watching the tape, they believe they can move you just with their head and eyes, and feel like you'll really react hard that way, then they can use that. But I think it's, Kirby's a pretty smart player, and that's not always the case. You know, Kirby is cerebral enough to understand when he's being messed with most of the time and when he's not. And so I'm not worried about that. There's things that can come up, but this is something he'll learn from. And I've also seen, I've seen Kirby bait quarterbacks into doing some things they shouldn't do. So that can go either way a little bit, but Kirby will be fine. You know, he'll be fine.
Any updates on injuries?
How has Lee McNeil helped establish the core of this defense?
He's playing big right now. He's having a really, really good season, and I thought he really showed up last night. You know, he played physical. I thought he won his one-on-ones. Look, he and Benito, Bohannon yesterday, they do all that dirty work in there in the run game. It all starts with them, and so. I mean, you talk about doing the stuff that doesn't really get noticed all the time, but then he's in there on a one-on-one and it transitioned to play pass. He's winning these one-on-ones right now with violence, and he's able to shed the block, and he's really he's giving us some interior rush right now, and that's all technique, effort, and he's maximizing his ability right now. So he is a vital part of what we are and what we can be on defense. You know, I mean, he's playing at a high level.
Any update on Reynolds or any other injuries come out of yesterday's game?
No, Reynolds is good. Really nothing to speak of. We came out pretty clean. We're hoping. I mean, he'll be out at walkthrough today. We'll just, we'll have to gauge it.